So this is Edinburgh Castle. It's more of a fortress than a castle, and it sits on that volcano. The last eruption, 340 million years ago. Right in front of the main entrance to the castle, we climbed up the hill, or the old volcano. This is called the Esplanade, which is the ceremonial parade route, and it's set up for the military tattoo, which takes place every year in August. This looks down to where we were before. That's called Princess Gardens, and the view from up here on the castle is incredible. Right out to the sea. Checking out the castle grounds, we're not actually going to go inside the castle, although we did have a unique opportunity to sit on the throne. Back through the Tattoo Esplanade, where 220,000 people are going to come and watch these bands and display teams next month. It's been happening since 1950. Leaving the castle starts you on the Royal Mile, and it takes you for about a mile from the castle all the way down to the Palace of Holyrood House. This is the oldest part of Old Town. It's called Lawn Market. Essentially, the Royal Mile has a number of different names. This part is called Lawn Market. There was a cloth market here as far back as 1477, right up until the 1700s. And today there's just a ton of shops and a great touristy area. Continuing down the Royal Mile, this is the highest steeple in Edinburgh. It used to house the General Assembly of the Church of Scotland, and now it's called the Hub. And they use it as a concert venue, meetings and conferences. Beautiful square. The architecture on the Royal Mile speaks for itself. St. Giles Cathedral with the crown spire. It's the High Kirk of Scotland. Kirk means church, and this one dates back to the Middle Ages. St. Giles is the patron saint of Edinburgh, the saint for cripples, lepers, and nursing mothers. Covers a lot of territory, that guy. Right next to the church takes you to the Scottish Parliament, which moved from Edinburgh Castle to this area in 1639, and now it houses the Scottish Supreme Court. The current City Hall chambers right across the street. You can't walk 5 feet without looking at something amazing. Right here on the street is called the Heart of Midlothian, and over the years they say many public executions were held here, and the citizens of Edinburgh to this day continue to mark their contempt for the old prison that was here and public authority by spitting into the heart of the Midlothian, and we actually saw a couple of people do that. So many beautiful buildings and monuments, although this has so far been Michelle's favorite monument in the city. This is the section called the Cannon Gate towards the bottom of the Royal Mile, and legend says King David was out hunting when out of the mist a large deer appeared, frightening his horse and threw him to the ground, and as the animal closed in to attack, the king put out his hands for protection, and a cross miraculously appeared between its antlers, and it stopped the animal and turned it around. That night in a dream, the king was commanded to build a house of worship on this site, and here it is. These little side streets are called Close, and this one is called White Horse Close, thought to be named after a horse owned by Mary, Queen of Scots. And it said if you walk through here, an unexpected visual treat dates back to the 17th century. This is cool. The last section of the Royal Mile is called Abbey Strand, and it runs down to the gates of the Palace of Holyrood House, which isn't open today on a Sunday, but you could certainly get a look at the gates. Let's go check it out. The official residence of Her Majesty the Queen when she's in Scotland, or Edinburgh specifically. That story I mentioned about King David and the deer, there it is, right on the fence of the palace. This may be a little shaky, my hand's kind of through a fence right now. Right next to the palace, this is called Holyrood Park, and up there is called Arthur's Seat, and just like Edinburgh Castle, it was formed by an extinct volcano system. We were down there in that cemetery behind the Canongate Church trying to find our way up here before. That's the end of the Royal Mile. Looks like they have some new construction going in. And then the old part of the city where we started walking 3.5 hours ago. And from Carlton Hill and Carlton Burial Ground, you get a sky's eye view of the palace as well. Turns out the Queen is in, and that is why Holyrood Palace is not open to the public, although I grabbed a brochure, so it's kind of like being inside. No one gets in to see the wizard, no way, no how. Up on Carlton Hill, that was the Robert Burns Memorial Statue, and this is a reproduction of the Parthenon in Athens. They started building it in 1824, but then they ran out of money and left it incomplete. This is St. Andrew House, and it opened up on September 4th, 1939, less than 24 hours after the outbreak of the Second World War, and it is a bustling center of government even today. We were looking at this from across the way on the Royal Mile earlier, didn't know what it was. It looked like a castle. Turns out it is the Carlton Hill Burial Ground. That's the burial of David Hume, and then you could see Abraham Lincoln, a monument in memory of Scottish American soldiers. This is a 200-foot tall monument built in the 1840s celebrating novelist Sir Walter Scott. Princess Street Gardens. You could see the Edinburgh tattoo, the Esplanade, and the castle up there as well. Oh good, more stairs. Another look at Edinburgh Castle. And on the other side of this street is the Royal Mile, and I think we'll head back up those stairs, safe to say. On a terrace overlooking the Royal Mile, this little street comes right off the Royal Mile. And there's restaurants and bars, and we found this perfect little place for Michelle to have her Scottish coffee. What a view.
Really strong.
She found her, they don't call it Irish coffee here on the Royal Mile, they call it what?
Highland coffee.
The Highland coffee with Scottish whiskey. The second we sat down on this outdoor terrace with beautiful views, it started pouring. And it's starting to pass over, but great, great timing.
French fries, honey. They're salty, they're good for you.
Wow.
Oh, more coming in? Words out?
Words out.
Oh, it was a to-go order. What is inside of haggis?
So haggis is inside a lamb, so it's mainly lungs, bits of parts mixed together with oats and spices. It's traditionally boiled in the sheep's stomach lining, but we don't really do that anymore. But we bake it with some mashed up turnips, some mashed potatoes, and then put some creamy whiskey sauce over it.
It sounds delicious. So it's no longer in the bladder of the animal.
It is no longer in that bladder.
Well, now
now
it's sounding a lot better. Thank you.
Okay.
We were out on the terrace, but this place is so quaint. Could not have picked a better place to hang out and have a drink. .3:15. We've really taken in this city in the past 6 hours. And back to where we started it all off this morning at the Waldorf Astoria. They're serving afternoon tea. And they've got the harp playing. If you're ever going to exercise, this is the place you'd want to do it.
Just before the buffet.
Just before the buffet. Right outside, they have a walking and running track here. Watch the sunset.